Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered. Three-handle family credential.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
number four, armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday, so you know what that means. It's time for the view from the WWE Universe, and joining me, as ever, is C-Jaii.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I am well enough. I'm over the man flu mostly. I have a few residual effects, but other than that, I'm fairly well. How are you?
I'm getting better. Broken tit's getting healed, so that's fine.
Broken tit is healing. You're able to write again. You're
able to write. I can lift my arm properly. It's all good. I just still can't lift weights.
Right. So no weightlifting, no heavy lifting. I'm unfortunately on no heavy lifting as well because I discovered this week after having the flu and coughing a lot, I discovered that I have a hernia. So hey, we can not lift weights together when we go to Melbourne, because my plan when I got to Melbourne was to get off the plane and find a gym straight away.
No, I'm right with you.
Now I'm going to be getting off the plane and finding the zoo instead, which some would argue is probably a more appropriate response to arriving in a new city. But I'm committed to trying to transform, and we know the B plus body transformation. I'm trying to get into ring shape. So, but it is what it is. I'm going to have to find other ways. I mean, I'm sure there's still exercises and whatnot I can do. I'm waiting for my doctor appointment to sort of sort all that out.
Sounds good. Hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. But before we get to Melbourne, there's a little bump in the road. Well, it's actually after Melbourne, but the announcement has come, and there's this little bump in the road that we have to talk about. The WWE are going back to Saudi Arabia on November the 2nd for Crown Jewel. How do you feel about this, man?
Okay, so I'm a bit tossed with this. I like the idea of heading back to Saudi Arabia because I actually enjoyed their show. However, I get it's their culture. I hate the freaking hell out of the fact that they don't have women's wrestling. That shits me. But I can understand that's their culture. That's how they want to deal with it. That's okay.
Yeah.
But the other thing, and I don't know if you're the same thing, and excuse my foul language for a second, but why the fuck is Brock Lesnar back in the main event? I don't give a shit if he's due this rematch. I just fuck him off to UFC because I don't give a shit anymore about his antics.
Wow. Now, see, I'm actually enjoying that, but for me, it actually is the other stuff that bothers me. It's the politics of the situation. I mean, Saudi Arabia is so ass backwards, it's ridiculous.
But that's the culture.
So
I can understand that.
It's the culture to just beat women, right? Like, no, that's not an acceptable answer ever.
It's not
that's
that.
Not an
I'm not saying that it's their culture to beat women. I'm not saying it's their culture to abuse women anyway.
But the women can't go out in public without a man accompanying them. Therefore, the women can't wrestle. All this stuff. They have to be covered if they do wrestle. It's bullcrap, man. I don't care if that's your culture. I'm sorry. Look, you can call me a whatever you want to call me. I don't even know what name would be associated with believing this. But at the end of the day, I don't care if it's your culture. Like, we afford people basic human dignity and basic human freedom and basic human rights.
Yeah.
And that is the right to self-determination, the right to, you own yourself and you get to choose with yourself what you want to do, right? I'm a huge believer in individual liberty and freedom, and Saudi Arabia flies in the face of everything I believe with that, with in terms of personal freedom. There is no such thing as that in Saudi Arabia. And at the end of the day, but I'm so torn on this, right? I'm so torn on whether I should support. Like, do I watch this show because obviously I have the podcast that we need to talk about it, right? Or do we boycott it? Do we say, no, we're not going to talk about that show because and it's coming days after Evolution, right? And Evolution is an all-women's pay-per-view, and it's like, it's a little bit sus, the timing that they're like, oh, but then 3 days later, the blokes are heading over to Saudi Arabia and you girls have to miss out on the payday again because of the ass backwards culture that we're dealing with. And I don't know. The timing of it with Evolution feels really, really sus. Like, it's like a little, no, here's a little something and we're going to act like we're doing this great thing. But then with the other hand, we're feeding these, or we're eating off the plates of these oil barons. And I don't know. On the other hand, I look at it and I'm like, look, you got to do right by your shareholders. I understand all that. Like, I'm a capitalist as well. So, I'm swine, whatever. I believe in them making profits for their shareholders. I believe in that. Like, that's absolutely fine. But at the same time, you still need to have some kind of moral conscience. Right?
Yeah, which I think, no offense to the board and to the creative control, but there is no sense of morals coming into Saudi Arabia due to the fact that they're pulling 2 people out of retirement for this event.
Yeah,
like,
well,
come
see,
on,
that
guys.
plays into it for me too. That plays into it for me too. Like, the money is just so big that I mean, this Saudi prince gets whatever he wants. I mean, at the Greatest Royal Rumble, he wanted Yokozuna. Now, spoiler alert, Yokozuna's not around.
Yep.
So they just pulled some random Japanese sumo guy to make the Saudi prince happy. Like, what? And everyone at home was watching. Like, I was on Twitter with the Greatest Royal Rumble was happening, and everyone was just like, who the hell is this guy and why is this guy here? He's just there to vanity stroke the Saudi prince. Like, he doesn't fucking get enough of that. And he's the problem. Well, his family, his whole, like, the elite class is the problem, because that's the other thing too, is I'm like, how many common people get to go to see this WWE show? Because I believe that it would be a great thing for them,
Yeah.
Because get out and have fun and watch something that's at least a little liberal, and that's a really good thing, and I want to support that for them. But then if it's only the elites that get to go, like the people that run everything and oppress everyone, like, fuck that, man. Like, I don't. It's just I'm so torn on it.
No, I can understand where you're coming from, and I just want to touch on the commonest side that you mentioned as well. The arena that they're in, the King Fahd Arena,
like the regular people.
Yeah. But the King Fahd International Stadium actually seats 67,000 people.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to do like they did with the first Saudi Arabia show? And are they going to have a 15-meter barrier between the people on the floor and the people in the stand? Because that's what they did in the last show. They had a 15-meter barrier.
They have to do that to protect the royal family.
I understand that, but stick the family in a box.
Yeah. Well, they want to be ringside, I guess.
I'm sorry,
but half of them don't even watch the show. Like, when you watch it, it looks really bad to have them on the hard cam side. And
it really did.
But I don't know. I'm so torn. I want to know what people think. I want the listeners to let me know. Should we cover the show, or should we sit it out? Because I'm truly torn, and I don't know if I want to cover the show or not. Because, like I said, it's the timing, it's the whole, like, as well, the propaganda videos that we were treated on the Greatest Royal Rumble about how this is becoming such a liberal paradise and stuff. And, like, I understand their line of thinking with, well, we have to be involved with the culture in order to change it.
Yep.
I understand that. I agree with that. You do. But at the same time, it looks to me like they're involved with the culture to change it, like Triple H says, right? But, and I'm doing air quotes here for those who can't see, obviously. I'm doing air quotes. They're involved in the culture to change it, but at the same time, what it looks like to me is they're just taking a fuck ton of money to do whatever the Saudi prince wants.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like there's any pushback of, well, can we have some women on the show? Can we have one women's match, and it'll be with, Naomi and her husband will be at rings. Like, have a mixed match challenge match, like a mixed tag match with Miz and Maurice, because they're married. She's accompanied by her husband, right?
Yeah, and they don't dress in small garments.
Compromise. But they're not. Yeah, but they're not trying. It doesn't seem like they're trying anything. You know?
Yeah. I can understand that. I think we are a few years away from Saudi Arabia allowing the WWE women to perform on their stage. But in a sense, from what I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but some of the WWE women will be going to Saudi Arabia to promote the event. I highly doubt it's going to be. I highly doubt it's happening. But apparently, there's actually one or two women. I think it was Charlotte and who was it? Charlotte and
it won't be Carmella.
No, I think it was Ronda.
They got in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah,
they got in a lot of trouble for airing that little video that they had with Carmella catching the water bottle last time.
Yeah,
but whatever. I feel like we've talked about it long enough. I want people who are listening to let us know. Send us a message, shoot us an email, comment on the website, comment on the Facebook, whatever you want to do. Let us know what you think. Should we cover the crown jewel? I feel like with some of the stories going in, it's going to be hard not to, but a big part of me feels like we shouldn't, So yeah. I want to know what people think. So sound off in the comments below. Get into arguments and stuff. It's cool. Like you do you. Let's move on with the rest of the wrestling week, I guess. Raw and SmackDown. What are the top stories for you from Raw?
Well, Roman wants Lesnar. That's the biggest thing from Raw. Is
right. So you're very upset about that. You're very upset about Brock Lesnar being back.
I'm actually very pissed off. I didn't think that I would get this cranky with it, but he walked out claiming that he was done with WWE. He was telling everyone he was done. He was signing with UFC. He was gone. To tell you the truth, I was so freaking happy. But the moment that this Saudi prince says, "Hey, I want Brock Lesnar," he's copying a 7-figure payout just because of this bloody event.
For one match, yeah, but at least he'll lose and then go away again, right?
Well, I fucking hope so. I'm not going to lie. If Brock Lesnar shows up after Saudi Arabia, I will never watch Raw again until he's gone. Don't care.
Hang on, man. We do have a podcast to do.
Yep, and I'll cover SmackDown and everything else, and everything that is not a Brock Lesnar segment, because I'm actually done with his shit.
Why do you hate Brock Lesnar so actively? Where does this? Because I didn't notice this before. I knew that we were sick of him hoarding the belt and the whole story and everything that was happening was stupid, but I didn't know there was this strong of a hatred.
It stems back from when he first started back. When he was first back, he was the dominant beast, right? I get it. They built him strong, yes, but then they built him too strong to the point where he didn't lose a single match in 3 years. Like, come on, Roman Reigns nearly didn't lose for 2 years. Like, but that's not. I don't know. I'm just so frustrated at the fact that they built him so huge, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Brock's the best. Brock's the beast." But Roman can't beat him. Blah blah blah. And it's like it's not the fact that like Brock's actually strong. I mean, he's losing in UFC at the same time. But like, I don't know. I'm just so frustrated, and I can't get the words out of my mouth about it. But I'm actually sick of seeing Brock Lesnar's face inside the WWE ring.
Right.
He's been there for too long.
Enough.
He wrestled 6 matches a year, won them all in the space of like 5-7 minutes, and walked out. Covering a 6-figure pay.
I think it works. I think it works as a special attraction. I do definitely think he's overpaid, but
yeah,
he draws money. That's the thing. Is the ratings go up when he's there? He draws money. People look at it and think he's a star. I need to tune in to see what he's doing. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, keep him for a once-off WrestleMania event and an event like Saudi Arabia. Keep the belt off him. That's I think that's where I'm mainly at. Is Raw didn't have a world champion for nearly a year. So what are they going to do? Are they going to put it back on him for a couple of months? Like,
no, I don't think so. I think he loses. I think Well, I don't think he loses. I think Braun Strowman eats the pin, which is gross and disgusting to think about. But. Actually, I don't think he walks out of Saudi Arabia the champion.
Actually, I just had a random thought. Kurt Angle's training for a full-time return. Could this be Kurt Angle's moment?
With Baron Corbin.
But could it be Angle's moment saying, "You know what?
Kurt Angle dethrone Brock Lesnar.
Not so much
Brock Lesnar win again, and then
not so much dethroning Brock. No. But Kurt Angle showing up in the middle of this match, taking out Brock Lesnar, right, causing Roman to get the pin over Brock." Saving Braun Strowman at the same time. And Kurt being like, "Well, I told you, you're not having this match. You won't given this match? No.
Okay, yeah, with that rationale, I can see it. With that rationale, I suppose. But I don't think so. I think that if Kurt Angle's gonna be there, he'll just have a match. But I don't think so. I think he's training for his big comeback against Baron Corbin, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think they're going to put him in with Brock Lesnar. But, it'd be cool if they did. But that would have to lead to a match. Like, if he's going to screw Brock out of it, then it's going to lead to a match in the end. Either way, you're going to see more Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but you just don't want him anywhere near the main title picture.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I agree. He shouldn't be near the main title picture. And I like him as a special attraction. So I don't have that hatred that you have. I like him as a special attraction.
Special attraction's okay. Yeah. I don't know.
But what about Baron Corbin booking himself a world title match on Raw?
What the hell is he thinking?
He's just enjoying his little power trip. It's not going to last long.
No,
I think
it
it's
definitely
hilarious. So many people were so pissed. The Raw ratings for the third hour were the lowest they've been in a long time. No one wanted to see that match. Like, shoot, like for real, no one wanted to see that match.
That was honestly, I don't blame them. The moment he announced it, I'm like, do I really have to watch that hour? I'm not gonna lie. If it wasn't for this podcast, I probably would not have watched that last hour.
Yeah, well, look, I'll be honest. I was running behind on things. I watched everything a day late this week. We're recording this a day late as well. But I watched the last 40 minutes or so on 2 times speed. So
yeah,
so I still watched what happened. Like, I got everything that was going on, but yeah, I watched it on 2 times speed. But I listen to all my podcasts on 2.5 times speed, so I could still understand all the commentary. So like, I didn't miss anything. I guess there were some good things. That Dean Ambrose-Drew McIntyre match was really good.
That was fantastic.
I enjoyed that match a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely hard-hitting, fast-paced. It's what those two needed.
It had no meaning or implication whatsoever.
No, it was just kind of
but
both guys wanted to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, and it was a good match for what it was. And then I liked the whole angle with Corbin trying to talk Ziggler into defending the title because, because Rollins isn't going to be here, but then Rollins is there and he has to actually have the match. But Rollins wins that match, defends his Intercontinental Championship with the curb stomp. Can we please stop with this match now?
Yeah, please. It's been going since when? June? Maybe.
This is their 8th singles match in 2.5 months.
What? I didn't know it was that much.
I looked it up on Cage Match. It's their 8th singles match since July.
Wow. All right.
So
let's
like
hope...
since I think end of June it started. End of June the program started. So end of June, beginning of July, around then. Since then they've had 8 singles matches, and that's not counting like obviously all the tags, all the 6-man matches that they've had. Just the singles matches. That's 8.
Like I will admit, every time those two step in the ring, they tear the absolute house down. They are an attraction in itself. They are what Kevin Steen and El Generico used to be back in Ring of Honor. They used to be Colt Cabana and CM Punk when they first started. Those two tear the house down. They are the attraction at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a fantastic match, but I mean, at what point do you say, okay, enough's enough? Like, we've seen this match 8 times in 2.5 months. 8 times.
I'm hoping that this 6-man tag at the MCG is going to be it. I hope it's it.
Yeah.
I doubt it will be because of the Saudi Arabia event, but...
Yeah, no, I think it'll probably close out at Saudi Arabia. Or maybe even... Is Survivor Series happening? That's the other thing with the Saudi Arabia event and the Melbourne event and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when they reduced their pay-per-view schedule, we all took a huge sigh of relief. Like, oh, that's half the amount of pay-per-views, right? Because they joined all the brands together and they're like, we're going to do half the amount of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's so much better. There's so much less to follow now. It's going to be so much easier to keep up. And then they just crammed it with even more, like all these special big shows and stuff. Like, I feel like you could do away with, like, if you're going to do these special big shows, don't do the pay-per-views. Or just make the pay-per-views the special big... like, I don't know. I feel like there's too much going on. And I need a separate Excel spreadsheet and a separate calendar planner to keep up with what's going on where and when.
No, I'm right with you. Like, I think ditch away with, like, keep the big 5. But say they wanted to do these events where they had MCG, they have Saudi Arabia, they have Evolution, have them at certain times. So get rid of Elimination Chamber and have say Saudi Arabia there because it's a big event, It could lead to the road to WrestleMania. Is Backlash still a thing? Get rid of Backlash and throw Evolution in there. Like,
Yeah.
I actually think get rid of the actual pay-per-views and have these worldwide events.
Yeah, have the big world events. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way to move forward. I like that. But at the same time, then they pull out all the old guys and have all the nostalgia acts, and that kind of frustrates me a little too, because I'm like, the focus should be on the now guys, you know?
Yeah, which I can understand that.
I don't know. All I know is there's a lot going on, and it's hard to keep up, and it's really bad when they're setting up matches on Raw. So we get to, obviously, the Riot Squad and Ronda versus Ronda and the Bellas. They've been like toying with Ronda's friends with the Bellas or whatever, and we knew the match was coming. The match had already been announced, but then they run an angle to set it up, and it's like, oh, how convenient that these guys all of a sudden have a problem with one another when they have a match coming up anyway. No, you put the problem first and then announce the match.
Yeah, some of the promotion for the match has just been so bad. I just don't understand it. Unless they do a complete flip for half of them, and they're like, well, you know what, it doesn't really matter because this match is actually going to end this way, or this match is now a tag team match. Like the John Cena Bobby Lashley match. You know what, let's not get into that. I'm not going to get into John Cena just yet.
Everything being announced before the actual story has a reason for it is kind of baffling to me. It's like the same with Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. We've talked about it a few times now. It's like, just hold off. Like, the tickets are going to sell anyway. You don't need to announce the matches. You can always just announce Ronda Rousey will be there. The Bella Twins will be there. The Riot Squad will be there.
That's how they should have done it.
And people will buy tickets for that. Yeah, and then the matches come as a result of the story.
Yeah, see, that's how they should have done it. I agree, yes. Have, just the little advertisements of the people being there. Advertise 2 huge matches that are going to be the money draws. So that would be AJ Styles and Samoa Joe in the no DQ match, and then Undertaker versus Triple H for the last time ever. Advertise those 2 matches. Everything else, don't even touch.
Yeah, and then announce it as you get closer. So we would know the matches now, you know? And in the week going in...
To be honest, I wouldn't even say that.
Well, but by now they've logically set up Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander.
Yeah,
they've logically set up... Well, we'd probably get the announcement next week on Raw, but they've logically set up Bellas versus Riot Squad with Ronda. They've logically set these up now. AJ and Miz, and because AJ and Joe and Miz and Daniel Bryan. That's the other one, right? Miz and Daniel Bryan got announced this week. It's like, yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah,
we already knew that was happening.
Well, we all knew that was happening.
It's just frustrating. But going back to Raw, I did enjoy the angle with Ronda and.
Actually, I did too.
Yeah, it was good. Like, although Ruby dragging, like, the Riot Squad dragging Natty out and being like, "Look what you made me do!" Like, how? How did she make you do that? She didn't do anything. I don't understand.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that myself.
It was just kind of generic.
As I was sitting there, I'm like,
heel, you know.
Yeah, I was like, why did you attack Natalya? She had nothing to do with this. You could have just beat Natalya to the curtain. That's all it could have been.
Unless Natalya's in on it, and she's gonna jump Ronda and join the Riot Squad.
Join the Riot Squad.
Please don't.
And they all walking. No, because that means they'll all walk out in black cat ears.
Oh, gross. Gross. The cat ears were hilarious, though, on Mixed Match Challenge, but we'll get to that later. Anything else out of Raw that stands out to you? Oh, actually, no, there's one more thing I want to talk about from Raw that really stands out to me. Leo motherfucking Rush. The man of the hour.
Wait.
The 23-year-old piece of gold. He looks like money. He smells like money. Oh, man. Leo Rush stole the show. He stole the show. He was the star of Monday Night Raw.
He was.
It was Monday Night Rush.
I'll 100% agree with you. Oh, that has such a good ring to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Seth Rollins might object with his whole Monday Night Rollins. There's been a lot of people who have done it.
No, I don't care. Monday Night Rush sounds so much better.
Yeah, I like Monday Night Rush, but...
You know what that actually reminds me of? That actually slightly reminds me of... I don't know if you ever watched the ABC when you were younger, but for us here in Australia, we have a channel here called the ABC. And over night time, they used to have this TV show called Rage. I remember watching that Monday night. So Monday Night Rage, Monday Night Rush. I don't know. I just had a flash of the past. Keep going.
Fair enough. I didn't know Rage was on Monday nights. It was always on like 2 a.m. Saturday or whatever. I thought.
No, I remember watching something like that on Mondays.
Fair enough. But yeah, Monday Night Rush, Lio Rush stole the show. He comes out during Elias's concert and Elias does the whole, whose kid is this? And it was hilarious.
That was so good.
And then Lio Rush just being like, yeah, big man told me you have jokes or are a joke. He said something. I was like, oh, these guys are fire together. And it got me thinking. Are you ready? So we know that Bobby Lashley is tag teaming with Elias.
Yes.
Sorry. We know that Bobby Lashley is tag teaming with John Cena in Melbourne.
For some stupid reason, but go on.
Are we gonna get Lio Rush? Are we gonna get a Lio Rush promo? Are we gonna get Lio Rush rapping with John Cena?
Oh yes, yes, please. I'd be keen for that.
Please, I will upgrade to the most expensive ticket now. WWE, if you're listening to this, you can have extra money from me because I want to see Lio Rush and John Cena rap together, man. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
Just have them interrupt Elias's concert and rap. It would be fantastic. John Cena bringing out Thug Life, Word Life, basic thugonomics, for the first time in 10 years would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And then he got on commentary during the match and he stole the show on commentary. And you know what? That's always one of the things with managing a babyface is like Bobby Lashley doesn't need someone to interfere in the matches and stuff, right? That's not a babyface role.
No, that's exactly right.
A heel manager gets involved in the matches, sits at ringside. Having the babyface manager join the commentary booth and just put over his man.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That is a really, really good thing to do.
And then when someone was about to interfere, he got up from the commentary booth like he should and made sure his client was protected and he distracted and he ran around and he did his flips. It was so brilliant on every level.
Yeah, it was.
I'm a big fan of the way they're using it. So have you turned around?
For?
Well, last week you said you weren't a fan of Lio Rush managing Bobby Lashley.
Oh, no.
And I pitched it to you. And you said, oh, sounds good. Having watched it in practice.
I think I may need to see it a little bit more.
Right.
To me, I think if this angle doesn't work, not only can it hurt Bobby Lashley, but it can also hurt Lio Rush. And Lio Rush is one of those people that you can't hurt. Bobby Lashley they can build him again as this strong dude. Lio Rush, in a sense, is if they bury him on the main event, he won't make it back to the main event, if that makes sense. I mean, he'll stay at 205.
I disagree. I disagree. I think Lio Rush is a star, and I've seen some stuff that a lot of executives like high up in the company are very high on him.
Yeah.
So I think he's an absolute star, and I think he would bounce back if they damaged him. And I don't think you can damage him because it looks to me like he goes out there and just is himself.
I think so too. But
he's not. It doesn't feel like he's being scripted. If he's being scripted, give that script writer a raise because
100%.
He understands the Lio Rush character so well.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have to have a little bit more of a watch. See where it goes.
Right. So I guess further along the card, we have Alexa Bliss is taking a back seat now. She's sort of not competing for the time being and taking a more of a managerial role with her friends Mickey and Alicia Fox. I thought that was a nice change as well.
That nice change also comes at a cost, though. I don't know if you've seen the reports, but she's injured. Alexa Bliss is actually injured.
I don't know if she actually is. I thought it was just a work because they're selling the whole arm thing from Ronda.
No, from what I saw, I think it was Bleacher Report or Sports Skeeter. One of the two are saying that she's actually suffered a shoulder injury.
Suffered a what?
A shoulder injury.
Yeah, see, it's all the arm. They're selling the Ronda stuff. I don't know if it's real. I don't buy it as real. I think maybe they're just giving her a bit of time off because it's smart to do that.
Maybe, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess we'll find out more as the weeks go on. But she's also been removed from the Mixed Match Challenge. So Team Little Big has been replaced by Monster Eclipse, which is Braun Strowman and Ember Moon. So she's removed from action and she's sort of taking on the managerial role. I like seeing her there. I think it's great. At least we still get her on our screens, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Like, if they took her off the screen, I can completely understand that too. Because at the moment, until Evolution, there's not much for her to do. Because she's done with the whole Ronda thing. Ronda's beaten her twice now. I mean, there's nothing else she can do with that. So, yeah, still get this manager spot or take her off TV for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So other than that, I guess that's all that really happened on Raw. That. Oh wait, no.
Wait, there's one more thing. I don't know if you go on because I have something else to go on.
Undertaker announced that in his corner in Melbourne at the Super Showdown will be none other than the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. Is it Knoxville? Knox County. The mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Kane. Is he going to be Mayor Kane? Is he going to be, like, because they're all going old school, right? Like, they're saying, I'll be the game if you be the Phenom.
Yeah.
Is he going to wear his mask?
He'd have to.
Oh, man.
He'd have to.
Yeah, because the Saudi prince wants the Brothers of Destruction against
the Generation X.
Yeah, and he's a 90s fan, so he wants the masked Kane. And he gets what he wants, the Saudi prince. That puts a bit of a sour note on it to me. I'm like, Kane, why are you going to Saudi Arabia? Like, you're a Republican. Your base are going to hate that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm 100%. As soon as they were like, he's coming to my corner, and then I'm like, wait. That means he'd be going to Saudi Arabia. That's not a good mix if you're a mayor.
But apparently they're putting his salary that he gets, like, into charities in the town instead of paying him.
Okay, which I like that better.
Yeah, so instead of paying him, all the pay he was going to get for the Saudi Arabia show and for the Melbourne show are going into local projects for the town. So it's actually like his town constituents are probably going to be like, whoa, like this is amazing.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars at least to bolster our town. Like, that's amazing. So I guess it's a pretty good move for him in
Smart
that
move,
way.
yeah.
But again, at the same time, like, if he ever was to go further, like, so he's the mayor of Knox County now. Now, normally mayor, you know, it's a gateway to being like, we're getting into politics now. I can't believe this is happening. It's a gateway to being congressman or even a presidential, right?
Can we have President Kane?
Well, it's possible in the future. It's possible if his aspirations call for it, he may end up going for president and become President Kane. But this will look bad to the Republican base. Yeah. He's more of a libertarian anyway. He's more of my kind of guy. But he runs as a Republican for what's the word? For expediency sake. And it's just more convenient to run as a Republican. And his base would hate him going to Saudi Arabia on a national stage if he ever goes to the national stage. But anyway, let's not talk about Kane and his politics.
Nope. We've got one last thing I want to touch on from Monday Night Raw before we move on to SmackDown Live.
Right.
The return of Nia Jax.
Oh, yes. That happened.
Yep. I just wanted to touch that in there because it was kind of a lackluster return. So SmackDown.
Absolutely. So it's SmackDown, definitely. Let's move on to SmackDown because I quite enjoyed SmackDown. Miz TV kicks things off. You know you're in for a good SmackDown when Miz TV kicks things off. You know you're in for a good SmackDown when Miz is on it in general. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Miz is a must-see. He makes every show he's on must-see. It's pretty not just a gimmick. It's pretty true. Yeah. And so he announces that he versus Daniel Bryan at Super Showdown is going to be for the number one contendership. And I have here, how is this news? Because he said, I'm going to start off the night with breaking news. And I'm like, breaking news? We learnt about this 3 weeks ago. Like, what drugs are you on, Miz? Yeah, no, I'm the same. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's not breaking news. That's breaking news would have been that you announced that it's a TLC match. Or that it's a tables match. Or a submission match. That's not breaking news. We knew it was going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like No Shave Seltzer, who did some work on our podcast way back in the day, but he's moved on to do his own thing. I want to say it's called Outside Connecticut. His podcast Outside Connecticut, and he has the whole gimmick of breaking news, where he breaks breaking news that's already been broken by someone else, and it's hilarious. And that's kind of what Miz did this week. Miz did. Yeah. Some breaking news, because we already knew this, Miz. This wasn't news. But then he introduces his guest for the night, and the whole thing, like going into SmackDown, they were like, he's got a mystery guest, and it was Maurice. I thought that was brilliant. That was so good. That was one of my favorite things in all of wrestling this week, was Miz's big mystery guest, and everyone's like, who could it be? You know, could it be, you know, a returning legend for the Super Showdown for the Saudi show? Is it going to be someone? No, could it be Rey Mysterio? That was a big one that people were talking about. Rey Mysterio is going to come. It was Maurice. Yep. It was his. You want to talk about Rey Mysterio now, though? Yeah, let's touch on Rey Mysterio.
So I don't know if you've seen the reports. Well, of course, you've seen the reports. If now we're talking about it, for those who haven't actually seen the reports that are listening, there are talks that Rey Mysterio has signed a 2-year contract with the WWE with a clause that meaning within 18 months he can actually walk out on the company without warning, which means he can go randomly to
I don't
Lucha
think
Underground.
that's what it said.
It's something along those lines.
no way.
He can request his release
No
after
way.
18 months. That's what I've heard.
Right.
That's what I've been
He'll
reading.
have to serve out the 2
Oh,
years,
yeah.
but he can say at the 18-month mark we're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in
But
a
he
sense,
won't.
that's...
I'm pretty sure he wants to close out his career with WWE.
And I don't blame him. But
Yeah.
touching on that rumor as well, or that little bit of news, is that WWE have also started looking at Pentagon and golly, who's the other gentleman? Phoenix from TNA.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Um,
Pentagon and Phoenix have been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
They're not just from TNA, they're from MLW, Lucha Underground, they're from all over the place. Their Lucha Underground contract doesn't permit them to sign right now, and they're committed with MLW through the end of 2019.
Yeah.
So that's not happening anytime soon.
however, what the rumor was Rey Mysterio was going to be leading a stable with them. But
Yeah.
the latest photos that have surfaced on the internet, I can't remember if we shared it to the page, was Rey Mysterio posing with Andrade Cien Almas and the Lucha House Party and creating a new Latino world order.
Nah, I'm not a fan. I don't like that idea. I like Andrade Cien Almas in his role as he is.
I think so
definitely
too.
am not a fan of
Oh,
that.
I'm the same
Definitely
with
not
that.
a fan of that.
But having him team with Lucha House Party and turning Lucha House Party heel, that could be pretty interesting.
How is Rey Mysterio going to be a heel?
I have no idea, but
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If he had the stable with Pentagon and Phoenix, he wasn't going to be a heel either. He was. It's Rey Mysterio can't come back as a heel. It can't happen.
Okay.
I can't see it happening.
Here's a question for the listeners. Do you guys think that Rey Mysterio could come out as a heel character? Let us know.
Yeah, I don't see how it'd work. But if someone has an idea for it, then absolutely. I just think people love Rey Mysterio. I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless obviously there was the whole booing him when he came out. In the Batista Rumble, right?
Yeah.
And number 30, and everyone thought it's going to be Daniel Bryan, and it wasn't Daniel Bryan because he had a match earlier with Bray Wyatt. It was, yeah. I mean, he got booed, but he was still a babyface. Like he wasn't. It's just the fans were pissed that they weren't getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
I can't see unless you do that with him repeatedly and then have him acted up like, oh yeah, I'm the one that's here. I don't know. I can't see it happening.
I don't know, but the main news is looks like he's signed.
Right. And so, but moving back to Ms. TV with Maurice. Maurice was the guest,
Yes.
not Rey Mysterio. and Maurice, it was essentially a big trap to try to catch Brian, but Brian knew it was coming because Brian's like, anytime Miz calls me out, like I know he's got something planned. He's not actually looking to fight. So he takes down the Miz and it's fantastic. And then we have, what else happened on SmackDown? We had the bar.
We had Kofi versus Cesaro.
Right,
That was
yeah.
another thing.
So
That was a
Kofi
somewhat
versus
decent
Cesaro.
match. We had
And Big E doing his Australian accent.
oh,
And
cringe.
it was so bad. I hate when Americans try to do Australian accents. But it was pretty funny because they were like, oh, whoa, that's offensive. Like I think it was Kofi.
Yeah.
That was like, that's offensive, dude. And he's like, no, the Iconic said it was okay. And just how that's like a riff on like, every white person ever who gets caught saying the N-word when they're rapping along with something.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like, no,
pretty much what it is.
my friend said it's okay, and he's black. And it's I thought it was a hilarious, like, it was great. It worked on so many levels for me, and I was like, I forgive your terrible accent now.
Yeah. So after that,
Big E do no wrong. I just want to put a side note as well. Big E, if you're listening, homie. I should not say homie. Big E, if you're listening, if you're ever looking for an actor to do your biopic, no, I'm not pitching myself here, C-Jaii. I was watching American Vandal while I was sick. And I wasn't watching wrestling, I was watching American Vandal season 2. And the kid who plays the really, really Catholic kid, he's this larger African American kid, and he would be perfect for playing Big E in a biopic. I'm telling you now, like, this kid is hilarious. And Big E, just a side note, if you're ever making a biopic about your life, look at American Vandal season 2 because this kid is you. I swear to God, it's amazing. Just fan cast. I do this kind of stuff in my head. My head is weird.
No,
I can't.
I'm right
help
with
it.
you there because I just thought of another series.
But yeah, so we got a little bit of build to their match. We got the Aiden English turn. Aiden English turned on Rusev. It happened.
Who the heck saw that coming? I didn't see. I didn't see English coming. I saw Rusev turning. I thought they were going to turn Rusev into the monster heel again.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that, but no. Rusev is the face. Aiden English turned because Aiden English is, a useless prick. I guess I don't know what the story is here.
Rusev.
I mean, he's pissed off that Rusev didn't appreciate him, right?
And the fact that he was. I think he was one of the first people to come out and say Rusev Day as well. Was he one of the first, or did Rusev actually claim that?
Yeah, he was. No, it was him. Like it was when they were first together or whatever. Yeah, it was his thing. He called it Rusev Day, but I don't know. I don't know where Aiden English goes from here. Like he's gonna have a match with Rusev. He's gonna lose, and then what?
Does he weigh in for 205 Live?
We talked about that. I don't know. I just don't see where he goes from here. So I'm a little bit worried about it because I do really like Aiden English as a performer, and at least having him in the team, he was on screen, but I can't see him sticking around much longer now.
No, I think after this segment, it won't be as a great thing. Does that make sense? After this team, he's got nowhere to go unless he goes to 205 Live, which I've just done a quick search. He does weigh in for 205 Live.
Well, there you go. We also got another chapter in the new Dolph Ziggler Seth Rollins story, which is of course AJ and Almas. So Andrade Cien Almas and AJ Styles are the new Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins. They just have matches all the time.
Isn't it sound like their second match?
It's like their third, I think. It's their third, right? It's their third one-on-one.
Oh, I thought it was their second.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it's the second match, but they can't leave a good thing alone. You have a good match, you leave it, and you come back to it when the story needs it.
Yeah.
Why did this match have to happen? What was the story reason for this match?
I think one of the biggest things was to try and build Andrade, but to make him look strong enough to take AJ to his limits, to the fact that that higher ups can be like, all right, he can show that he can take AJ, then we know he can take Shinsuke.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, here's the thing. Eli Drake had something to say about the industry in a shoot interview that he did.
Yep.
And he was saying how, this whole thing of putting the in-ring action, and the in-ring action is all that matters. It's a cancer on wrestling. Now, I think, and he's gotten a lot of heat for that because people are like, of course it's what wrestling is about, the in-ring action. And his argument was wrestling is about stories. It's not about wrestling. Wrestling isn't wrestling. Wrestling is stories. And I'm sympathetic to both because I love a good wrestling match. I love Ring of Honor where it's just, boom, two guys going to fight and see who's best, right? Some of the best stories that get told, like Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, was just two guys wanting to be the best. Was just one guy who was clearly the best and the other guy being like, I want to be better than you, right? But the thing is, that's a story.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a story. But that story is absent when WWE do this because they just fight and fight and fight and fight.
Yeah.
There's no substance
There's
to it.
no storyline here.
And so I kind of understand where he was coming from. When I look at something like this or like the Dolphin and Seth thing, I look at it and I go, okay, I see where he's coming from because this is pretty ridiculous. Like, yes, they have amazing matches, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And for what purpose, too?
Again, like I said, the only purpose that I can think of with this is building Andrade to becoming a United States champion.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. I can see Andrade becoming United States champion, and I look forward to that day happening. I'm really bummed out about Shinsuke. Like, Shinsuke is just an afterthought.
Yeah, like he's a United States champion.
I really hope he doesn't re-sign, but he has pretty openly said, "Oh, I moved to America and I'm here." So it doesn't look like he's going to go back to New Japan. But I mean, damn, he's just such an afterthought. It's terrible because he's so good.
He is, but I think throw him back in the main event with the guys that we know he can work with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like Shinsuke Nakamura's style is hard hitting, fast action. It is pretty much what New Japan is for WWE. Just toned down a little tiny bit. I think him
Yeah.
perfectly in the ring would... Shinsuke and Andrade Cien Almas would be a really, really good matchup. Shinsuke and Joe, Shinsuke and AJ. Well, no, not Shinsuke and AJ. We've had that about 1,000 times. But you get my point. Like, Shinsuke needs to be launched into that level where it makes the United States Championship relevant again. Because to be quite honest, I actually forgot it was still around.
Yeah. No, me too. Shinsuke's, it's just like I said, it's an afterthought. It's been an afterthought. And now the last thing to talk about for SmackDown, Charlotte and Becky. Becky is officially the heel. There's no two ways about it. Like, she was kind of like in between for the last few weeks, but I said pretty clear WWE wants her to be the heel. Yep. And after her actions this week, you can't call her anything but a heel, but everyone's still cheering her. So
it's because she called Charlotte a bitch.
Failed experiment, WWE.
Yes, failed experiment.
Basically, she didn't just call her a bitch. She asked her to call her queen and wrap the title around her waist. Like, that was some pretty strong healing.
It was.
Like, you're not meant to like her, but because she's doing it to Charlotte, you like her. It'd be like if I'm trying to think. It'd be like if they tried to... And Finn Balor is a really effective heel, right? But if they had Finn Balor saying those exact lines in his heelish, dickish manner, which he can do so well, if they had Finn Balor saying those exact lines to Roman Reigns, he's going to get cheered.
Yeah.
You have him saying those lines to Seth Rollins, and people are like, hang on, buddy. Hang on.
Yeah.
What are you
exactly
talking about?
Right.
Put the belt around your waist. You know, it's all in context. And you have Becky Lynch say this to Charlotte, and everyone's going to cheer for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Because people want to see someone like Charlotte get it.
Yeah. And I'm really, really hoping that Becky Lynch actually keeps this title, and come Evolution, it's not Charlotte that's facing her.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be Charlotte. It's one of the only... The thing is, too, SmackDown are the only place that have real stories. So I know I was ripping on them about the AJ Almas thing, but the AJ Joe story is an actual real personal story. The Miz Daniel Bryan thing is an actual real personal story. The Charlotte Becky thing is... And the Aiden English and Rusev, too. Like, this is actually a show about relationships. Raw has none of that.
Well, they obviously have two different creative teams. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. Raw has none of the personal issues, and personal issues, for me, I like that about wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not the only story to tell. Personal issues aren't the only story to tell, but it is a good story to tell. And SmackDown even has the other story too, where they have the tournaments for the tag teams, right? Like who's going to be the best tag team? That's a story that they're telling. And SmackDown just seem to be doing a much better job. But that said, still not doing anything worth writing home about, to be honest with you. But let's move on. That does it for the main roster shows. Let's have a look at NXT to start with. NXT this week was fantastic.
Fantastic, huh?
Fantastic. Yeah, mostly because of one match.
Let's agree with just that one match was fantastic.
Well, hang on. So Dakota Kai, Deonna Purrazzo versus Aaliyah and Lacey Evans. That was a really good match.
I didn't mind the match. It was good, but I don't know. It didn't grab me.
I'm just watching it, marveling at how far Aaliyah has come, and her heel work was on point. And yeah, I really enjoyed watching Aaliyah, knowing where she's come from and all the things that we've watched her do.
Yeah. And
have her not connect. And she seemed to be connecting now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think she's starting to connect with the crowd a bit more. She's starting to connect with her tag team but a bit more. Like, they were pretty dominant in that match. So I really enjoyed that. But I think...
Interesting to see the heels pick up the win. Lacey and Aaliyah picking up a win over Dakota Kai, who's one of the bigger ones, and Deonna Purrazzo.
I think it was good.
It's interesting. For me, it says that they're building the heels because Kairi Sane is going to retain against Shayna Baszler when they eventually have a rematch. That's what it says to me.
Yeah.
Because they're building up new, strong heel contenders.
Yeah, which I think that's what's going to happen. And just out of the blue, I have a little rumor, or a little hope, I should say, regarding that Kairi Sane Shayna Baszler rematch. But yeah, so having them build this heel character again with Lacey Evans and Aaliyah, it's so good to be able to have them come out of, in a sense, nowhere. Because come 2 months ago, I didn't know who either of these people were. I mean, I'm not an indie darling.
Right. Well, they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
No, they've been around NXT for a while, though. Neither of them are from the indies. They're both NXT originals.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I thought they came out of, like, the indie somewhere.
No. So Lacey Evans is a military veteran who signed with WWE, based on a tryout, athletic performance, all that stuff. And Aaliyah, I think, is a former model. I'm not sure, but I know she's been around for a long time and she's been training with NXT.
So she's paid her dues pretty much. Well, they both have.
Yeah, well, no, they're both on the circuit, and they've both come a really, really long way. Lacey Evans improved first, in my opinion, but it's neither here nor there. We also get a Dream interview, and I love when Dream does this. As soon as anyone asks him, this has been consistent. If you go back and look at Dream interviews throughout the past, whenever someone asks him a question about someone that's not him or his direct opponent, he's like, "You want to ask Dream questions about people that aren't the Dream?"
Yeah, I love that.
Interview over. And then he leaves. Interview over. No. The second you ask a question about someone that's not me, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
This
Which
is about
really
me.
Good.
It's like he's living the Tennille Dashwood all about me gimmick, but better. it's crazy.
He's showing her how it should have been happening.
Yeah, and so then we get Street Profits fan interview, and the fans say, it's just chains, and they're like, they aren't just chains, and I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, okay, I'm starting to see the cringe with Street Profits. I'm actually starting to see the cringe.
They're just so noisy, and I sound like an old man. They're just so noisy, and
get off my lawn!
It's just unnecessary, and pull your pants up. Damn hooligans! No, it's seriously a matter of they're a stereotype, and as a fan of hip hop culture and black culture, generally speaking, it's offensive to me. I mean, I guess it's not offensive to them. They're doing it. Like, good for you. Like, get your minstrel money. Yeah. Go for it. But like Leo Rush manages to do a black culture gimmick that feels authentic.
Yeah, but I also think that's because Leo Rush is a better in-ring performer in general.
And Bobby Lashley, who 3 weeks ago I hated, but I always was a fan of his whole "my man," right?
Yeah.
Like, because it felt authentic. It felt like that's the real guy coming through, where he's just being like, you're my man. Like, and that's the kind of thing that Street Profits are doing, but they're doing it turned up in a really, to me, gross way. I don't know. Like, this is about our chains. This represent our culture. No, dude, it was a chain. It was a chain.
A plastic chain,
right?
Of that.
Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a fan of Street Profits. We know this.
Yep.
Moving on, we get a promo from Bianca. There was a lot of promos because essentially they were just, it was mostly, this show was mostly a one-match show.
It was.
So we get a promo from Bianca Belair, which was always nice. Bianca Belair is great on the stick. And then we get Jackson Riker versus Humberto Carrillo, who impressed me in his jobbing.
Yeah, he had some sort of lucha background, apparently, and he did pretty well in the ring, I will admit.
Yeah. Riker and the Forgotten Sons, I don't see them lasting long, to be honest with you.
If they build them correctly, they can. As individual stars, no.
Yeah, so the Springboard Powerbomb was cool, where he used the ropes and like this match, like these squash matches, these are what should have been happening from the beginning with these guys. So, then we get Candice LeRae backstage with Regal and the assistant dude. This thing is still going on. She says she didn't see anything, but she's pretty sure it was Ciampa. And then she provides an alibi for Johnny. Of course she's Johnny's alibi.
Of course.
How convenient.
Of course she
How
is.
convenient. It was both of them. I want Candice to go out and be like, I did it, but I didn't do it for you, Johnny. I did it for The Rock. I know that joke's overplayed at this point, but, it is what it is.
That's fine.
Could you imagine if it was Candice LeRae that took down Aleister Black? On her own.
It would be interesting.
She's so
however,
she's so badass.
However, I have seen spoilers from the new taping.
Don't, do not, do not.
I'm not going to spoil it.
I saw a spoiler headline. It was like, huge return at NXT tapings. And I'm like, well, obviously that's Aleister Black, but I'm not clicking on anything. Do not tell me any spoilers.
Can I just want to announce one thing regarding the returns.
Okay.
All right.
If you spoil anything, you're dead to me.
No. The only thing that I can really say without giving so much away is it's not just a single return. More than one return happened at these NXT tapings.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's more than I even want to know, okay? I didn't even want to know one return happened. Okay?
No, I can understand that, but
I don't like spoilers, so I want to. No more. No more. You're dangerously close. You are on very thin ice, my friend. No more spoilers.
I hold the power.
The shows that haven't aired don't exist. Okay? The shows that haven't aired don't exist. They haven't happened.
But you,
Dunn and Ricochet.
I was going to say, you know what? Dunn
and Ricochet.
Yes, that match exists. That, holy wow.
Was such a good match. I didn't even care that they screwed up the ending.
No,
I didn't even care.
No, didn't care about it.
I assumed that the ending would be like this because I was like, well, this show was taped, so if there was a championship change, we'd know about it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, okay, I've come up with a solution for that, by the way.
Yeah.
When you're taping, just be like, we're going to go live for all championship matches. Right? So just interrupt whatever's on the network, whatever replay of Legends House or whatever is going on the network. Just interrupt it for that 20-minute title match and go live just for title matches.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
That's what Ring of Honor did. Ring of Honor went live with their title match when Jay Lethal won the title, and he won it live on Honor Club, and then it was on TV 6 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
And it was fine. Because we all knew, okay, so Jay Lethal's the champion, and then they just kept him off the TV until it was time, and then I liked it. And I think NXT should do that. But moving on, Dunn vs. Ricochet, I knew that there was going to be some kind of screw finish because there were no spoilers saying that there was a champion. So I kind of saw it coming, but I wasn't even mad because the match was just so amazing, and they actually let the match play out for the full 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it was like, okay, these guys are closing in on a victory, and then Undisputed Era come out and beat everyone down, and then the War Raiders make the save. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm really liking the Undisputed Era at the moment because they're sort of like, you know what, our leader in quotation marks doesn't have a title, so we think he deserves it.
Yeah,
I mean, but who's the coward now? They seem to be throwing that word around.
Not so tough when it's 4-on-2.
No.
But yeah, so that was NXT this week. It was definitely worth watching for that match alone. Pete Dunne versus Ricochet. Holy crap. Match of the week easily in WWE world.
Yes.
No question about it. Now let's tackle... Oh, wait. Did you watch 205 Live this week?
I certainly did, my friend.
Did you do your job? Yeah.
What job was that?
Watch the wrestling? Because you haven't watched Mixed Match Challenge or Mae Young Classic, so I'm going to have to talk about those on my own. But let's talk about it quickly. 205 Live. TJP versus Lince Dorado. Pretty good match. Ultimately, TJP rips off the mask and rolls him up to get the win.
I was actually a big fan of that. I was a really big fan of that. I love that as a heel move. That's just perfect.
Yeah, it's a bit overdone in places like Lucha Underground, but so like if you're watching anything other than WWE, it's a little bit overdone. But yeah, it's definitely a good spot. Then he steals the noisemaker and runs off, and Lince Dorado gives chase. So this officially signifies the end of 16 Reasons Why versus Lucha House Party,
which is kind of upsetting. But let's. But you know,
TJP. Maybe TJP joins forces with Tony Nese.
See, I would be happy with that because you know what, our Buddy Murphy is going to become Cruiserweight champion, so he needs to be in that main event picture. He doesn't need to worry about Lucha House Party and their loser house party and all of that garbage that they deal with, their spinning toys and their fancy dancy masks and all their dancing and.
Speaking about not having to worry about it, Leo Rush tells Drake Maverick that he can't compete against Noam Dar next week because of his commitments to Bobby Lashley. I thought it was so good. And he's like, I smell like money, I look like money. And Drake Maverick's like, yeah, well, you're not going to get any money if you don't do that.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, Daddy Maverick hasn't lost a beat since joining with AOP.
It's just so weird. It's still weird, though, that he's playing these two distinctly different characters. At least Leo Rush's character is consistent. Leo Rush has that kind of character where whether he's a heel or a face, he's going to be the same guy, right? Which is what's so... those are the best characters. The Rock was the same if he was a heel or a face. Austin was the same if he was a heel or a face.
John Cena?
I guess Mankind was a little bit quieter when he was a heel. But yeah, John Cena's the same. Carmella... The Miz, they're all the same, whether they're heel or face. Yeah. They don't change.
No, that's exactly right.
And Leo Rush has that quality, whereas Drake Maverick definitely doesn't. And it's so jarring.
Yeah.
Seeing him do the two roles.
So weird seeing him do that. Like, I don't know. Unless he finds a way to haggle the Authors of Pain into 205 or bring the 205 into the Authors of Pain segments, it's just not going to work.
It just seems weird to me. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, moving on, we get Mustafa Ali talking to Drake Maverick about Hideo Itami, and Drake Maverick teases him a little, and he's like, you got the match. I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah.
He misled him like he wasn't going to do it, and then he's like, no, you've got the green light. We all agree you get to have your match against Hideo Itami. So that's happening next week.
I'm not the only one excited for that match, right?
No, that's going to be an amazing match. It's going to be stiff as hell.
It's going to be amazing.
But that's next week. This week, the main event, Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight title. Early in the match, Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher get ejected. And yeah, ultimately it was a really good match, but it was kind of pointless because we knew Cedric Alexander was going to win.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen.
But the suplex to the floor.
The suplex to the floor and the Gulak on the rope.
Incredible.
Those spots are just fantastic. That is showing that 205 can definitely do a lot better than what the main roster can.
Look, any other week, this was match of the week.
Yeah.
Any other week, this was match of the week. But because it was up... actually, there was stiff competition this week. So Pete Dunne versus Ricochet, obviously. And then you had Seth and Dolph was a really good match. AJ and Andrade was a really good match.
Yeah.
And we talked about Drew and Dean was a really good match on Raw as well. So, in-ring quality this week was actually kind of pretty high up there.
It was really good.
In WWE. There was a lot of good...
Each show had a decent match. At least,
yeah. Yeah. So, but 205 Live, as always, highly recommend watching it. And I'm going to talk quickly about Mixed Match Challenge and Mae Young Classic. Now, these are all on the Thursday morning for us now, which is the Wednesday night in WWE. As opposed to... So Tuesday, they have SmackDown and Mixed Match Challenge. And then they've moved 205 Live, NXT, and Mae Young Classic are all in 1 3-hour block on Wednesday. And holy crap, it's the wrestling block. 205 Live, NXT, and Mae Young Classic. It's just wrestling. I assume that NXT UK will replace Mae Young Classic when Mae Young Classic finishes. I assume that they'll put the NXT UK in that spot. But wow, it's so good, this 3 hours. It's so much easier to watch this 3 hours than it is to watch Raw.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I want to catch up on.
So, the Mae Young Classic this week, we had Caitlyn defeat Kavita Devi. And my first thought was, I don't remember Caitlyn being this good. So, that's a bonus. Caitlyn has improved in her time away. Toni Storm picks up the win over Ginny. Aussies beat the motherland, the UK, which is always nice. She picked. It was the best match of the show, but not the best match of the night because we also had Drew Gulak, Cedric Alexander, and Pete Dunne and Ricochet. So, but it was a really good match. Karen Q versus Xia Li, two women of Asian descent, and Michael Cole and Renee Young started the match talking about how they wanted dumplings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they talk about wanting to break Asian stereotypes. These two competitors want to break Asian stereotypes, but they're both working martial artist gimmicks. They actually have legitimate martial artist backgrounds, so it's okay. But it's just a little, go with a different story maybe.
Please.
Go with them being proud of their Asian heritage. Don't go with them wanting to break stereotypes, because it doesn't make sense when they're both doing, they literally did, tiger pose versus dragon pose,
Yeah.
They literally did that. So you can't say they're trying to break stereotypes, but I'm fine with them being what they are. It was a really good match. And I love Karen Q. Karen Q does work in Women of Honor. And this is the first I've seen of Xia Li, but she impressed me. But it just felt like an odd narrative that they were pushing on commentary, especially when they had just been talking about wanting dumplings. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. And I felt like Beth Phoenix was sitting there I'm just going to sit out and let you guys be embarrassing because I don't want to be involved in this. Because I don't remember her talking in this match much. And when she did, she was talking about their legitimate martial arts backgrounds and stuff. And she was just letting the other two look like idiots. So, I don't know. It was strange. And then the main event was Allysin Kay versus Mia Yim. And this match wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But it was a good hard-fought match. Definitely not the best match on the show for that. I'd say Toni Storm versus Ginny. The night before, though, after SmackDown, was Mixed Match Challenge. And damn, I forgot how fun these are. Because they go out there and they just have fun. They just act like it's a house show.
Yeah. Which
they
is
don't
in a sense
like
what
it's not. Yeah, and here's the thing. wrestling on house shows, it's what the way they do their matches on the Mixed Match Challenge is what I love about wrestling. When I go see live wrestling and they're interacting with the crowd and they're having jokes with each other and all that sort of stuff, that's the things I love about wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, like the foot spot. The foot spot when they both go for a kick and they both catch the foot, and then they're like, "You put it down. No, you put it down. No, you put it down. Okay, we'll put it down on 3." You know, it's such a classic spot. I've seen it at so many shows, and they do it in New Japan a lot as well. They do it everywhere. It's a classic spot, and it's the kind of spot that they would never do on WWE TV, and I don't know why.
I don't know.
It's fun.
I think because the comedy stuff would drag away from the storylines, to be honest. I think that's what it is.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't. It adds. Anyway, so Team Pause get the win over Monster Eclipse. No, sorry, hang on. So Monster Eclipse get the win over Team Pause. Team Pause, of course, is Kevin Owens and Natty. Kevin Owens doesn't like the team name, but Natty's a dominatrix, so she gets what she wants. And Ember Moon, this was impressive. She hit the Eclipse off Braun's shoulders.
Oh, okay. That's a new way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so she goes up to the top rope and like he's in the ring and she goes up to the top and then tags herself in, steps on his shoulders, jumps off and hits the Eclipse and gets the win. It was impressive. It was like she's coming off extra height, you know?
That's pretty cool, actually.
He's significantly taller than the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And then we got Day One Glow, which is, of course, Jimmy and Naomi. And they took on Phenomenal Flair. Phenomenal spelt with an F. Like, that's ridiculous.
No, cringe.
Phenomenal Flair. And yeah, AJ and Jimmy did the put down the foot spot, and then they argued about tagging out. Like, he was like, I'm going to tag out. And he's like, all right, you tag out then. No, you tag out. No, you tag out. And they did. And it was just fun. It's just real good fun. They tagged. And Charlotte twerked for some reason. And then... What? Yeah, and then Charlotte and Naomi did the put the foot down spot as well, and then Jimmy realized that Natalya left a pair of her cat ears on the turnbuckle, and so he put on the cat ears, and he's wearing the cat ears for the rest of the match. It was just fun. It was so much fun. I really like Mixed Match Challenge. I'm happy it's back. In the end, a figure 8 on Naomi leads to a submission victory for Phenomenal Flair. Yep. And next week we get Asuka versus the Fabulous Truth.
Yep.
And we get Legit Dominance, so that's Sasha Banks and Bobby Lashley, against Mahalisha, which has to be the best tag team name ever.
Mahalisha? Is it Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're doing their little selfie promo where they're doing Shanti.
Oh,
Shanti. It's so good. It's so good. Mahalisha, Legit Dominance, and Asuka, of course, is Miz and Asuka, and the Fabulous Truth, Carmella and Truth. Now, the way they're doing it this time, that it's not a single elimination tournament like it was last time. It's a round robin where they all face each other and they get the points.
Yeah, which is, I like that better, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's the 2 blocks, so it's SmackDown versus SmackDown and Raw versus Raw.
Yeah.
And then ultimately you'll have a SmackDown team that wins, a Raw team that wins, and they'll face off in the final. I like that. It's much better set out.
Can we have the final of the Mixed Match Challenge at Survivor Series on the pre-show?
Why on the pre-show? Because it's going to be the most entertaining match of the night.
It probably would be, but also in that fact, I'm sick and tired of seeing 205 on the pre-show, so I want them on the main show.
Fair enough. So that does it for this week, I suppose. Next week, if you can, try to watch Mae Young Classic, try to watch Mixed Match Challenge, because they're so much fun. It's so much better than watching the main shows. But it's 9 hours, so it's up to 9 hours now. We have 9 hours a week. So, you know, the tagline for this show originally was, we watch 7 hours of wrestling, so we watch 7 hours of WWE programming, so you don't have to. It's up to 9. And when you include Hell in a Cell this week, we had to watch 14 hours of WWE.
Yep. We watch a lot of wrestling.
14 hours. You have no idea. But... You want me to tell you what else I watched this week? I also watched, of course, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, Impact. I'm halfway through Impact at the moment. I also watched MCW's Fight to Survive. Really good show. Really good show. And I've watched half of EPW at the Dean and the last half of EPW's Vendetta, which I didn't finish last week. So, you know, it's...
You're a busy boy.
I watch a lot of wrestling. Some would say I watch too much wrestling. I even managed to fit in an entire season of American Vandal too. That's like eight half-hour episodes, American Vandal.
Yeah.
But when I started, I couldn't bring myself to watch any wrestling until I'd finished. And so I had to finish because I had to watch wrestling in order to do the podcast.
Yeah, good
and so I'm like, well,
I
I had to finish it. It was just so intense. It's such a great show. If you haven't seen American Vandal, the first season, I go way off on a tangent, but I don't care. This is my show, all right? If you don't like it, skip 60 seconds. It's fine. American Vandal season 1 it's like a fake documentary where they're investigating who drew the dicks. So someone drew dicks on a teacher's car.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so it's this true crime parody. It's a parody of a true crime series like, what was that? How to Make a Murderer?
Yeah.
It's a parody of that. And they do it so well because they use all the documentary features and stylings to manipulate your thinking into, it had to be this person. No, it must have been that person. And they take you on the whole roller coaster, just like those docuseries do. And they do it about dicks. And it's just the funniest thing ever. And then at the same time, they have all these themes in there that are like really deep themes, like Boys in America. Does school fail them? Like, what?
Wow.
Like they're dealing with really deep themes in a really, it's so funny. And that was season 1. Season 2 was even better. Season 2 was a person who did a bunch of shit crimes. They call him the turd burglar. So he made the entire, he put laxatives, he or she put laxatives in the lemonade supply and made the entire school shit themselves.
Oh, wait, I saw it.
And then filled a pinata with poop. And then they put poop in the t-shirt launchers at the pep rally. and it's called The Turd Burglar, and he posts all these crimes on Instagram, and it's this whole docuseries about who is the turd burglar. And it's just so good because, once again, they have these really deep themes of like police corruption and, you know, forced confessions and favoritism of athletes in the school system and all this sort of stuff. Like they deal with all these really serious issues while also manipulating your emotions like a real documentary in a true crime series, and it's about poop.
Oh, wow.
It's like South Park level satire. Like, it's so
That's
high up there.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the comedies that they used to have with Big Show in the bathroom stall with Eddie Guerrero. That's what that reminds me of.
You brought it back to wrestling. My man. All right. That does it for us here at the B Plus podcast. That is the view from the WWE Universe this week. Fuck Saudi Arabia. I'll edit that
Please.
out.
Wow, let's get shot.
That's the view from the WWE Universe this week. Where can people find you,
You can find me on Facebook at CJ's World and on Instagram at CJ's_World.
And I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestler on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, you name it. We're there. Leave us a comment, like, share, subscribe, answer the questions we asked you. I can't even remember what they were. That was an hour ago. Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered. Three-handle family grudungle.